Get out of the listening mode. Get in the talking mode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Merch Money. We have Matt and RJ on today. Real talk. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So we will go ahead and just go around and introduce ourselves. Before we do that, I just want to say that Michelle is stuck in traffic and she has no battery on her cell phone. So unfortunately, she'll either have to join late or she might miss today. And Brianna can't talk. I told her to just relax and she didn't have to come on, but that was just, she is so dedicated. She's like, no, I'm coming on. So we'll see. We'll see how.
I can't miss out.
We told her she needs
to wave, right?
Yeah, we told her she needs to either learn sign language or like hold up cue cards of what she wants to say. So
I have bad sign language.
You can monitor the chat.
There you go. I told her Luna should be her spokesperson tonight, but she was too afraid to do that. She didn't know what Luna would say.
No merch magic tonight.
No merch magic. We got to have the show earlier so she can be on. But anyway, my name's Helen Kinson. My thing that I'm proud of this week, we always go around and say one thing we're proud of. I am really having a fun time with Penji. So I started like a little mastermind group with everyone who's doing Penji, and it is so fun. We're really having a good time together. So I'm happy about that. And I'll introduce Brianna. This is Brianna Moller Greene. She just came back from, oh my God, I forgot what it's called, Midwest Conference. And Midwest Ecom. And she did a talk. She did a speech Saturday night that I was so sad I missed. And she was just starting to get laryngitis. So she pulled through, gave the speech, gave it her all, completely lost her voice now. So you know she gave everything at that conference. And hopefully, if anybody recorded it, let me know. I really want to hear it. So if anybody recorded it, send me the link. All right. So one of the Amy's.
I'll go. Okay. I'm Amy Nicholas, Marketing Mayhem Girl. And I'm just grateful to see, I'm proud of myself. I'm going to just like pat myself on the back. I'm proud of myself for being very consistent with everything that I do. I try to be consistent across the board with working out, walking, doing my business stuff, reading, just bettering myself every day. And also my Power Punch live videos daily and uploading to YouTube because I'm starting to get like quite a few YouTube subscribers. I'm almost at 300.
Yay!
So, and that's in like a month and a half. So pretty excited.
Everybody subscribe to Amy. It's right on the side. Like it's one of the recommended YouTube channels. So definitely subscribe.
We'll get you a bump to your YouTube channel, Amy.
Yeah,
awesome.
And if you feel like it, you can subscribe to me and Brianna also. We're also linked there.
If you feel like it, you're like the actor.
If you feel like it. If you can be bothered to click a button.
All right, Amy.
All right, so I'm Amy Springer, Merch Marvel. And, you know, this week, there's nothing in particular that I'm proud of or anything. I mean, merch hasn't been too terrible considering it is July and things are a little bit slower. So I can't really complain there. I will say, okay, one thing that I feel has been better for me is research, which as most of y'all, if you watch in and tune in, you know that I'm not really big on research. I just have a really hard time with enjoying that. But for the past like 4 or 5 days, I've been dedicated in research, and I'm confident that I will see it paid off. So that's probably my win this week.
Awesome. And you keep doing the merch Girl Boss
yes,
shows.
the
Those
Girl
have been awesome.
Boss show. And that's a lot of fun. You know, Amanda Balcazar, she's with me on there. And it's just a good time to just sit back and, you know, talk merch off the script. And it's cool. Yeah, I love that too.
Yeah, it was good. I watched the last one you guys did. So, all right, Matt.
Oh, I get put on the spot.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
It's your turn.
One thing I'm proud of, the newsletter that we put out has had a really, really good response. everybody seems to be very, very happy with it, and I'm just happy to see that people are interested in it. Like, we put a lot of work into that, so it's really, it's really gratifying to see, people getting value out of it.
It is so good. I've read both of them. There's only two, right? Or there's three?
There's only two.
Okay, good. I've read both of them. They were awesome.
No, it was funny because I've noticed in y'all's group before you guys put the newsletter out, you were talking about this amazing thing you guys were working on, and then I was sitting there, I was thinking it was that niche list that RJ put out, and I was like, okay, well, that's nice. And then boom, here's this newsletter full of amazing content. And I mean, I've learned stuff, and I'm, it's a really awesome thing that y'all are doing. So thank you, because it's provided a lot of content for me too. So thanks.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have something that, I just try and throw as much stuff into it as we possibly can, because there's no way to keep up with everything, right? Like I was talking with Amy Herberger over the weekend, and she's like, I had no idea that any of these extensions existed, any of this stuff, right? And she's as dialed in it gets.
Yeah, we were kind of talking about that a little bit, and it's like, oh my goodness, and it's changed the game for me. Like this whole needing to go through all our old listings to make sure everything's in compliance, it was a bore. And then bam, here are these 2 extensions you can use together, and I didn't know about them until your newsletter, and it's made the whole entire process 20 times easier. So amazing stuff.
All right, RJ, you're not gonna get off the hook. You gotta introduce yourself too.
Okay, my name is RJ Martinez, and something that I'm happy about is I've been actually putting out more YouTube videos. Last week I probably put about 4 or 5 out, and I'm trying to get it to like 7 or 9 a week, and I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. I'm still trying to figure that out, but the last 2 YouTube videos, I've actually got the most dislikes I ever got in my whole entire life.
That's your test. Say anything or not. I was like, should I say that? Is that rude?
You have arrived.
What the heck? Why were there so many dislikes?
I don't know.
You know what that is, bro? You need to be proud of that. That means you're getting haters. That means you're actually doing something right.
Yeah. You have arrived. You're hating on your crap.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, though. But I'm just smiling about it. I'm just like, why, though? Like, I'm trying to figure out why. But I don't take it as like, oh, man, it's the end of the world. I'm like, why? Like, if I can figure out why.
Yeah. Watch ours before we start. There's always a down. Before we start.
Yeah. I saw that.
No, I already seen it. I was like, wow.
They're like,
we're not as cool as RJ. Yeah, we don't have as many, so we're working on it.
Yeah, no, but I seen that, and I was laughing. I was like, man, okay, so do I have to show everybody how to make money all the time? I can't talk about myself, or what is it?
You can't take it personally, because there's always going to be people that will hate on whatever it is you're doing, no matter how successful or unsuccessful you are. You just got to ignore them and do not ever take it personally, because what you're doing is great.
I think what really matters is how many likes you have versus views. If you have quite a few likes and not like a ton of views, that's a good sign,
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Not everybody hits that like button, and there's so many people that still like it. Like, honestly, like a huge percentage of the people that liked your video, they just don't hit the button.
Yeah, sure.
It's true.
Well, also too, I'm thinking is just like I'm more like, okay, just put out the content and not even pay attention to that, because that's what like Gary Vee says, like you don't pay attention to that, because if you pay attention to that, then it's always going to discourage you. But me, I'm just like, why that? Like, you know what I mean? But I really don't. I don't care.
Don't try to figure it out.
Use it to fuel you. Like if you're gonna look at it and you're gonna allow it to make a difference in your life, just make sure that you use it as fuel to just keep on going and putting out even better and better content every week. Yeah, and you have that, because I mean, everybody in your group, like you guys have so much respect and so many people that enjoy seeing what you guys are putting out there, and that's what you gauge your success on. So
we made the pop socket research for the people that subscribe to the newsletter. Just made it today. I finished it today, and it should be sent out within a couple days. Probably.
I thought RJ's thing he was going to be proud of was he survived his birthday. It took him a couple of days to get back, and like, I know if I don't hear from RJ for a couple of days, something definitely happened.
Happy birthday!
Mine's tomorrow.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
I totally forgot to mention, like, on my own show that I was gonna like still do a show and do like a birthday special.
Oh, I can't wait! That'll be great.
I'm gonna give away like
decorations. We need decorations.
I know.
You should have told me. I could have had my whole like decked out birthday.
I know. I was like, I just been so busy this past week and a half, and I'm like, wait, it's my birthday. Like somebody said happy birthday at the bank like over the weekend, and I was like, what day is it? Like I don't even know what day it was. It was like 2 days early, but whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna do a giveaway of 1 month free in my like paid Facebook group for the Power Punch tribe. Awesome. So for anybody wanting to watch tomorrow, you have to be live because I'm gonna ask a question. So you have to get the question. So.
That's cool. Yeah. Like you guys also get confused too with what day it is. Like I wake up, it's like just another day. You know what I mean? That's how I wake up, just another day. And then I'm like, what day is it though?
The only way I can keep track of days is that my husband has a job, it's like a regular Monday to Friday job. So if he's home, I'm like, oh, it must be the weekend. Like, that's about it. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. There's like a million directions we could go because you guys know so much about print on demand, merch, Etsy, everything. I wanted to start off with Etsy just because I loved the story of Matt, how he like turned around his Etsy store over a weekend. So Matt, you want to talk about that a little bit?
So we started Etsy November last year, and it was strictly because like, you know, we knew the freeze was coming. We had pretty much maxed out our account on merch, and we weren't going to be able to, like, no tear-ups were happening for, like, I don't know if you guys remember, like, the last 3 weeks before the freeze, there were no tear-ups. So we were maxed out. We had no more slots. We're like, all right, well, let's just start with Etsy. A couple other people were doing it. Seemed like it was a good idea. My wife had experience on Etsy before, so it just seemed like a natural play for us. And then, you know, it's the end of the year. Everything else is going on. You know, I have my other business. So we uploaded some shirts. We didn't really put a whole lot of work into it. And then we just kind of left it. And we'd get like 1 or 2 sales a week or something like that. And we got through St. Patrick's Day, and it was kind of slow going into Cinco de Mayo. And we were really frustrated with our merch business at the time. So we were like, all right, fuck it. Like, let's take a look at Etsy and just see what we can do there if we actually concentrate on it and put some work into it. So we completely revamped our shop, like top to bottom, redid the branding, the name, redid everything about it, like redid all of our mock-ups. We had some mock-ups that were up that were custom, but most of them were the Printful mock-ups, which suck. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, you need to catch somebody's eye if you're going to get a sale, right? Like, you need that thing to pop compared to everything else. So you can do that if you're in a non-competitive niche and there's not anything else out there. Somebody's going to click on your listing, no matter what it looks like. But the stuff that we do a lot of times, you know, it's in pretty competitive niches because there's a lot of demand there. So we completely reworked the shop, and instantly, like, I swear to God, by Sunday, our views had gone up like 4x. We started getting consistent daily sales, and then it's just ever since then, just keeping up with that same theme, right? Like really niching down into what our ideal customer is and creating stuff for that ideal customer. We've seen massive results.
That is awesome.
Do you load the same stuff on merch as well? Like the
yeah, primarily. There's a couple things that aren't there, but it's just because like they go for like tank tops and stuff. Like it's just they wouldn't fit necessarily. But I think 95% of the stuff is on merch also.
Okay. Now, what steps do you take to give yourself a good shot at those more high demand where people are putting their money niches?
You got to stand out. So like all of the mock-ups that we do, my wife went through, and like they are completely and totally custom. Like they look better than everything else in that niche. We made sure that there's lots of contrast, so they really pop out, so that there's a difference between, like, the backgrounds are primarily light colored, the shirts are generally dark. We only carry 3 colors in our shop, just because that's the vibe we want to have. Like it's everything looks and goes together. There's nothing that kind of stands out. The other part of it too is we understand our target niche, right? Like, so our target niche is a community that we're involved with, that people that we know, friends, everything else. So we understand it really, really well. So when you're creating the shirt and you're marketing to it, all of that kind of goes together. The shop is very congruent. Everything works together. There's not, you know, it's not a dog shop and then suddenly there's like shirts for, you know, brides or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's everything goes together and works together. So it's not confusing to somebody when they're in the shop. And I think that also helps in terms of, like, if you're looking for one thing, so say, for example, you're looking for a dog tank top, right? When you go into the shop, there's other options and other things that will fit within that a shopper that is looking for that is going to be able to buy.
That's awesome. Did you already do that niche on merch, or was this like brand new?
No, we did it on merch also, but we decided that we were really going to focus on it and drill down. You know, and it was kind of a little bit of a passion project for my wife. It's something that like she enjoys being able to do the more detailed listings, right? So to be able to actually make a difference and make your stuff stand out. So, you know, we do merch and there's no control over the mock-up. There's really no control other than your design. You have no control over the, you know, nobody's looking at the listing. Nobody's looking at your actual copy. That's just keywords that people are using to find your stuff. Whereas Etsy, you can make your stuff look totally different. You have 10 pictures you can fill out. You have the description. You know, you can lay it out however you want. And it makes a massive difference.
That's really good points. What about you, RJ? Do you have an Etsy store?
Yeah, I have a general Etsy store, and then I have a niche Etsy store. I've been doing a lot of research. So with the mock-ups, of course, I always had not at the beginning. I never had mock-ups. I was just using the Printful mock-ups. But from my understanding, what like the marketing person of Etsy said, that the white background is very important. You get more traffic with a white background. She don't know why, but that's what she said. That's it. Just a white background. You get more traffic to your store if the mock-up is white. I'm not even sure why neither. So
who's the Etsy person you talked to? How did you meet them?
No, I didn't talk to her. She was like on another live hangout, and I was just kind of like figuring out why a white background, because I already knew already, but I was like, why? Like trying to figure out why, and she just said it. She's like, I don't know why. That's just the way it is. That's how the customer is.
It goes back to the origin of Etsy. I've been on it for a long time with the vintage items and everything. It's just kind of the look, like with Matt's store. Matt's store had that look. Etsy used to have that look where everything was just white and everything was very, very plain. So I think they kind of try to carry that through now.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so you have the general Etsy store, and then you have the niche down Etsy store. Do you see one is doing better than the other, or is it about the same for you?
The niche store, like I barely started it last week, and it was my birthday.
Oh, okay.
So, like I'm barely focused on it right now. I just checked it today. There's no sales on it yet, and I'm running ads to it, but I haven't gotten no sales yet. But I do see like it's getting like the traffic is picking up. I only have like I think like 13 listings, but the traffic is picking up.
Because Matt, you think it's better to have the niche down versus general?
Yeah, I would say 100%. Like. RJ, how many listings do you have live in your general store?
1,200.
Okay.
Oh,
and
wow.
What'd you do last month in profit?
I think it was like barely like over $300 in profit.
Yeah, we did like
kidding.
We did like $1,700 in profit off of 184 listings.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, do y'all find that Etsy is harder to break through than merch, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, so this is the advice I give to anybody, like if they're starting out. Like if you're starting out in merch and you're not successful in merch, spend the time in merch. It doesn't cost you any money. Like learn the print-on-demand business there, understand the research, understand how to find stuff, because it doesn't cost you anything. Etsy costs you money, right? And if you're going to have a successful shop on Etsy, you better understand a couple of things. You better understand how to figure out who your target audience is. Or if you're doing a general store, you better be able to figure out where demand is coming from. Make sure that your listings, because they cost you money to be able to list things on Etsy, make sure somebody actually wants that design.
Yeah, for sure.
How can you do that? Like what do you recommend to make sure that there's a demand for your product?
So you need to really research Etsy, right? Because the Etsy buyer is different from the Amazon buyer. And this is the thing I think a lot of people make a mistake on too when it comes from merch to go back over to Etsy. Not everything that's selling on merch is necessarily going to sell on Etsy. The buyer is different. It's a different demographic. You know, it's primarily women. There are, you know, between the ages of like 25 to 45, upper middle class. They're looking for a different experience than just your average, you know, scaled out t-shirt. They want something a little more custom, a little nicer. And that all speaks back to like really making a good listing. So doing the mock-ups and everything else, like they want to have that really like hand, you know, touch when you actually have an interaction with the customer. And that's the other thing too with Etsy that isn't on merch. You got to talk to your customers. Like you're going to get messages constantly, whether it's shipping, details about the item. Like, and I hear people bitch about it all the time that they're constantly getting messages and everything else. And I'm like, that's the greatest thing ever. I have an opportunity to convert a customer right then and get a sale and create a fan. Like that's 100%. We've gotten so much business because we went the extra step, went really detailed, made a friend. And then suddenly, like, these people are referring their friends, you know, having multiple orders. That's the great thing about Etsy is you have that information. You know when you have a buyer that's buying from you again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I can see how that would be very, very beneficial and something that we don't have on merch.
That's awesome. I feel like Etsy is almost like a step before you go to Shopify. Like, it's more of your own business and your own brand, but you still get the organic traffic from Etsy.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. Having had the Shopify experience, I will say that, yes, it probably would have been easier to do Etsy first because I really had to learn customer service. And that was a challenge, even just to learn it enough to teach it to a VA, you know, for a store. But Etsy, like Matt was saying, it's just like a walk in the park. You know, someone messages you, I mean, 50% chance they're going to buy something at least.
Yeah, for sure. And then also, too, I see I'm all confused about that because like I have 1,200 listings up. And I'm just like, my designs are okay. They're good. And then I have someone else that I talked to, like, she's killing it too, Kristen, and she's killing it. Like, she like has, it's a general store. I was like, you have a general store and you're doing those type of numbers? And then she's like, yeah, I was like, I have a general store. I'm not doing those type of numbers. I was like, what type of mock-ups are you doing? She said the basic printful mock-ups. And I'm just like, okay, now I'm confused now. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, you have someone that's putting up just the basic mock-ups that they're just running traffic to the basic mock-ups, and their sales are like up to like $6,000 in sales.
I think that's a good point where it's like hard to compare yourself to other people because you never know like what they're really doing. Like maybe hers are more girly than yours. Yeah. Like maybe they're like more girl-based, and versus more of the customer, more of the customers on Pinterest.
Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Well, and if your niche is like all over the place, it's kind of hard to even to be a general store. I mean, if you go in there and
call it a general store, but they're kind of related. Like the same type of person might like a cute dog shirt or a cute donut shirt. Like they're different, but they're not that different. Like a bookworm, quilter, fabric hoarder. You know what I mean? Like that kind of goes together.
Well, I know I'm like the Etsy shopper that goes in there and I use the search bar. I know what I'm wanting. So the general stores do really well for me because I'm just looking for like a certain thing, not so much a niche. But we know that the mock-ups are really important. How important are the keywords? We know in merch, keywords is where the eyes are going to get on your tees. How important is that on Etsy? Outside of after the mock-up, like it's important to have the mock-up. How important is it to have those keywords?
It's all part of the picture, right? Like you need to, if you're going to stand on an Etsy, like you need to make sure all of that works together. Make sure that your keywords and your tags and your titles all work together. And the beautiful thing is, like, you have free software like Etsy Rank. Like it's completely and totally free. Like I've tried out the premium. Quite frankly, I don't think the premium's worth it. It's $10 a month. There's just the extra data you get really doesn't make a difference in my decision in terms of what I'm going to use for my tags and titles. And understanding that like tags, titles, and description all kind of need to work together. Once you understand that and figure out how to find out what the tags and titles are that, you know, other people that have well-performing shirts are, you know, all of that working together makes it really easy to understand how you can write a listing that's going to perform.
Now, do people search differently and use different keywords on Etsy versus merch? Or does it all kind of work?
I think so, much like Amazon, right? Like a lot of the Etsy search is going to be based on the auto suggest. So like what Etsy's populating for them. And, you know, that's the nice thing about Etsy Rank is it helps to keep track of like what the other well-performing shirts are in the niche, right? So you can actually go through and type in a keyword string. So say, for example, you're looking for, you know, dog tank top women, right? And then what it'll do, Etsy Rank will actually pull up the listings that are really, you know, doing well in that niche when you go down to the very bottom of the keyword search, and then you can just go through and look at those listings and look and see what like the listing scores on those. So, you know, I know some people don't think that Etsy Rank is as good as Marmalade or whatever. It works great for us. Doesn't cost us any money, which is even better. So I go through and I look at what other like really good listings are, look at what their keywords, tags, titles, everything else are, and then just pick out the best ones.
I love how you make it sound so easy. It really is that easy, but it's like, I don't know. Like do you have a marketing background or SEO background?
I have a marketing and SEO background. That's my role in the business that I run. So my partner is more of the organization and putting processes in place and everything else and making sure that like the books are balanced, all that stuff. My job is to get us traffic, marketing, SEO, all of that stuff. That's the stuff that I really love.
I heard that somewhere, I forget, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense now. Because you're so
there is an advantage there.
We thought you just came out the womb knowing
I
all that stuff.
I know. We're like, man.
Now I'm so disappointed. No,
so when it comes to SEO, right? And this is a little tip that I think that everybody can benefit, whether you're on merch or you're on Etsy. There's a company called Moz, MOZ.com, and they're an SEO company that's been around for a long time. They have a guide to SEO, like a beginner's guide to SEO, that I can't recommend enough. Like, this is where I literally like started learning and understanding how search engines work and everything else. And it's based more for Google, but it's going to work for any search engine because they all kind of operate the same way. It's like 50 pages long. It's really, really detailed, but like it's a beginner's guide. So it starts from the very, very beginning and go through it and read it. Like, it'll help you to understand kind of just a general way, like how these things work. And it might help you to understand how to write better listings, how to find better keywords.
Thank you so much. I feel like I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gone. I got to go read this guide.
Now, can a guide like that help us? Well, can a guide like that help you with organic traffic?
Yeah, I mean, because it's gonna help you understand like what search engines are looking for and why it's important for you to do certain things, like why it's important for you not to like write repetitive titles that are just, you know, over and over and over again the same keywords, that kind of stuff. Like, all of these things matter because not only do you want to rank on Etsy, like Etsy sends a lot of traffic from Google, right? So you need to make sure that your listing looks good on Google because you want to rank on Google because they're going to send you more traffic than Etsy organic search down the road.
And Etsy is one of the biggest search engines, right? It's up there.
They're up there.
Like the top 20, I think.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
And Pinterest is a big one too, right? Do you use Pinterest at all to drive traffic to Etsy?
So we do, but we haven't really started driving traffic to our Etsy store. I'm more concerned with building an audience there first. Okay. So I'm just trying to build the audience as large as possible there before we really start, sending them offers, sending them, listings and everything else. I want to make sure that they are interested in what we have, that they enjoy the stuff that we're doing, because I want to get actual fans. Like, because the problem with Pinterest is a lot of Pinterest traffic, a lot of the followers that you get at the very beginning anyways, are bots. They're people that want you to follow them back so they can grow their account and everything else, right? Like, there's a ton of bots on Pinterest. So you have to really focus on putting together a good Pinterest profile that is going to attract real people. Because at the end of the day, you don't care about bots. Like, I don't care about what my numbers are on Pinterest. I care about what the traffic is that's actually going through my links to wherever it's going.
Yeah.
Do you and Aaron have a ideal number of like how many listings you want to get in your shop, and then just say, okay, we've got enough, we'll just rotate out from here?
Not specifically. I would be very surprised if we go above like 350 to 400. It's probably going to be somewhere in that range because you want to keep it fresh. You want to make sure that the stuff that's up there is applicable. And then also the other part of it is too, like, not only do we have that store, like we have two other stores. We have one that's primarily an artwork store, and then we have another one. It's artwork and home furnishing, and then we have another one that we're just opening up right now for another niche that we're focused on. And that's kind of where I see us going. I see us opening up as we hit that number, working on opening up other Etsy stores focused on other niches.
Nice.
Are you building, so you were talking about building an audience and everything. Are you, do you have like an Instagram account or a Facebook fan page or anything to build the audience?
Instagram account, Facebook fan page, both of those are like in their infancy. Like, we're just starting out because, like I said, I'm trying to do it right. I want to make sure that we're growing something that isn't going to be a bunch of just bot traffic, stupid people that don't apply to what our niches are.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So all of that will work together. Are you going to have like a funnel, like an email thing, and upsell customers and all of that? Yeah. So the plan is eventually to lead them to a funnel. It comes down to what's the best way to interact with your customer, right? Like, and I mention this brand all the time in our lives, but I really think that Everfit kind of has it down when it comes to the Etsy audience, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think that the Etsy audience is necessarily looking to like click through Facebook ads and everything else. Like, they're looking for more organic traffic. They want to interact, be a part of a brand, be part of something that they believe in. So they do all of their advertising through Instagram. It's literally their entire account. You go look at their account, their stories are nothing but different shirts that they're showing daily to their audience. And I think it's really, really effective. So that's more what I'm interested in. Like, I don't necessarily need to market to people through Facebook, whether I'm going to bridge them off my Facebook fan account and have them in like Messenger or something like that and market to them that way. I would prefer to do something a little bit more natural, a little more organic. That's just because of the platform and what it is.
you know, down the road, if we want to go Shopify or something like that, then I could see really focusing on doing funnels, upsells, downsells, and, you know, putting together offers to get people to buy. But it's in its infancy right now, right? Like this is where my head is right now. We're going to test things and see what works best.
Do you guys put links to other products? Like if it's something you think it would really go together within the description, do you link to another product?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So like, for example, we have some stuff that's like matching. So it's supposed to go with another shirt. So there'll be a link in the description. A lot of times what we'll do is we'll do a mock-up that has both in it. So it has the one shirt and then it has the other shirt.
Cool. Yeah, now, do you find it difficult to juggle through more than one store?
Yeah, so Etsy is not the most friendly when it comes to managing multiple stores because you have to actually sign into the different stores to be able to get all the messages. It doesn't like group them all together. So that's something that we kind of had, you know, if you're paying attention to your email, it's not a problem because the emails obviously all come in and you can see them all in one spot. But if you're just depending on like the notifications you get from the app or from the store, then it can be a problem.
And I'm sorry, RJ, I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
Honestly, like that's what I said. I said this like about December or January. I was like, Etsy is like the payouts are every day. That's like the biggest thing right there. That's like you can scale so fast with that. And I think doing the research too. A lot of like 7-figure like online e-commerce, whatever people, they make like 7 figures and they use Etsy. They leverage Etsy to figure out how to research. So that's something right there too. Like I know a lot of people that just use Etsy just to do the research because they tell you so much, and a lot of people won't tell you that because they kind of like to keep it
okay.
secret.
That is a really good tip right there.
Yeah. So for you, RJ, you're big on research. Like your entire YouTube channel was built on that in the beginning. How effective has researching through Etsy been for your merch business, let alone your general Etsy stores?
Well, I use it a lot. Like with my designer, like I'll send them links and stuff like that. I went and clicked on the search bar right now on Etsy and Taco Cat popped up and I found someone else that I've been watching. I was like, I've been watching this person make back to school designs and I found their Etsy store just right now. So
nice.
So it's like, yeah, it tells you a lot of stuff. It tells you a lot of stuff in the back end that merch or Amazon won't tell you. So there's a lot of stuff. So, and then I'll actually use that information that I get over here on Etsy and then take it over here to Amazon and see like what's making sales, if it's making sales, if there's a demand for it and stuff like that. So very important.
And have you seen that pay off really well for you in merch?
Honestly, like I'm just going. I'm just designing. And if I see it, I'll throw it up there. You know what I mean? I'll throw it up there. So I'm designing. There's just a lot. There's a lot going on.
I know it's so hard to manage everything. There's so much out there.
The nice thing about Etsy too, though, is, and this is something that me and RJ have kind of hacked, is there's a way to tell like what's selling on Etsy. And so that's part of our research, right? Like figuring out what's selling on Etsy, because that gives you an idea of like where the demand is going to be, regardless of whether it's on Etsy or whether it's on Amazon. You know, it might be a little bit different design on Etsy. It might not necessarily be to the same customer, but the demand is still there.
Yeah. When you're looking for like the demand for like a shirt or a design or something like that, you just look for the social proof on Etsy and then you'll find a lot of stuff on there. So
what is that? The social proof?
Like the add to carts, the reviews. If a shirt has a certain amount of reviews, and if it has over 20 or 10 add to carts, it'll tell you. So the customer actually took the time to press add to cart and stuff like that. Well, I went over that with Matt. It was like a private video that me and him did.
Awesome.
I was like, yeah, so.
Well, we're pulling it out of you now. Like, not private anymore. No. Is there a way to get reviews? Like, can you do something to get more reviews, or does it just have to be organic if the person likes the shirt?
So it's not the same way as merch, right? Like there's not a, how do I want to put this? It's not like merch where it's like expressly prohibited, I want to say, in the sense that like, I don't think Etsy wants you necessarily going like bugging customers saying ask for a review. But if you do it in a way that it's like natural, so that it fits into like the experience for the customer, right? So one of the things that we try and do is we try and message a customer after we receive their order just to confirm it, let them know that we received it. This is what it is. This is what the processing time, shipping time, all that stuff is, right? Because a lot of times Etsy customers don't realize that there is processing time on along with the shipping time, and it can become an issue, especially as you get closer to the holidays. And the whole reason we do this is because it opens up the conversation, right? They're used to us reaching out. They're used to us actually messaging them. After the order ships, you message them again, let them know that, hey, here's your tracking number. Wanted to let you know that it's shipped. Here's the normal shipping time. And then also I just followed up at the end with, we're a small business. We're just starting out. If you like the experience and you like the item, it would mean the world to us if you could let the other Etsy shoppers know how you feel, right? So just something that's organic, nice and easy. It converts really well.
That is a huge tip right there. So do you have templates you set up to make it easy to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And can you set it up through your phone, like the templates on your phone, or you have to go to your computer and do it?
Yeah, we do it through the computer. The goal is, what I wanted it to be is a replicable process, because we're training a VA right now to be able to take over all of that stuff.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, so do you set up like reminders for yourself, or is there something that Etsy does to let you know, like, okay, now it's on its way, now they've received it? So
Printful sends an email out every time something ships. So that's what triggers it on our end. Okay. And Jay D'Souza just mentioned in the chat, which I knew this. You can contact them regarding the experience, but you can't actually ask for a review.
Okay. Yeah,
so just be careful. If you like to share your experience.
Exactly. Just be careful with the way that you order. But there's an easy way to make it very obvious that what you're asking for, and not be overly demanding.
Yeah. So with those emails, you have the email because they ordered something from you, but I mean, once you have that email, are you allowed to contact them again, or is that against the rules? Do you have to just?
Not supposed to. No.
Okay. The only email is just to say, were you happy with the experience? And then after that, you can't.
Right, exactly. So that doesn't mean that people don't try and do that. So, for example, we ordered some custom Yeti coolers for our wedding for gifts for the groomsmen. And I swear to God, 3 days after we got it, we started getting bombarded daily with emails from this seller. Super annoying. It's just a bad experience.
Yeah, and that's
why really they don't send out they have it now with the Etsy people that favorite stuff. You can send them a coupon code. Yeah, but it's limited. It's very, very limited, because I actually emailed Etsy wondering I've had all these favorites in the last week, and you've sent 5 emails, and they said, yeah, we limit it so that the customer doesn't get more than it was an email every other day or something.
Yeah, so check out the Etsy Success podcast. They recently did a podcast going over the marketing side of it, and they explain what the logic is behind those favorite coupons and how they get sent out, and how they try to not overwhelm the shopper, because you obviously don't want to get 20 emails a day from different shops and everything else.
Cool. I wrote that down. So real quick, just to clarify, I obviously, from my questions, you can tell I haven't really started an Etsy store, even though it's been on my list. But part of the reason I haven't is because I didn't want to do a general store. I wanted to make sure I start to build a brand and do it the right way.
Sure.
And that's made me not do it at all, which is not good. But anyway, back with the emails, you have to have someone opt in to receive emails, right? Is that how it works?
So as part of your Etsy experience,
if you want it, let's say you want to build an audience down the road and you want to start being able to contact them to upsell, you have to have some kind of program where they opt in to receive that email, right?
Right, for sure. And then that comes down to, like I said, to bridging your audience off of wherever you are, right? So whether it's, Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whatever, you have to have a method to bridge them onto an offer page, onto some kind of an email chain, funnel, whatever.
And you can't really do that from Etsy, right? Isn't that against the rules from Etsy? Is it better to do it from a Facebook page or an Instagram page? Right. Yeah. Building a brand is not something that you're going to be able to do solely on Etsy, right? And that's the reason why, is you're not going to be able to take those emails and be able to remarket and retarget these people, which is the whole idea, right? You want to be able to capture that person, make them a lifelong customer, and then be able to continue to sell, remarket, retarget, because they're a buyer. I'm sure Amy knows all about this. This is marketing 101.
That's what, the Shopify thing really takes over, because you don't own anything if you're just on platforms. Guys, realize this. I mean, Etsy decides to shut your account down tomorrow. You have no customers. You have no audience.
Exactly, and that's the brilliance. And we talked a little bit about this over the weekend. That's the brilliance of Everfit, right? Their brand is Instagram. Their brand is not Etsy. They could literally pack up their shop, put it on Shopify tomorrow, and it wouldn't matter one bit. Nobody would even notice.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of Shopify too. Just the fact that you can email them whenever you want, right? You pay for an email app, but just the fact that you can just talk to your customers like they really are your customers, you know?
Do you think that you'll put your Etsy store on Shopify and eventually just have it be a Shopify store, or do you like it being on Etsy? I
like Etsy for a lot of reasons. It's easy. The organic traffic is great. It's all in one spot, right? So say we grow something to a certain point. I don't necessarily want to have one shop on Shopify, the rest of them on Etsy, and now we have other things that we're controlling. But for me, the core is like I want to build a brand, right? And it's because I want to be a little bit better at it. I want to understand it, because if you do it once, you can replicate the process. And I think that brands are very powerful. Brands are where you should be aiming to be right now if you're in e-commerce, right? Like you want to create an audience and a brand so you have the ability to remarket and retarget. You don't depend just on viral traffic or just running ads and everything else, because at the end of the day, that's not sustainable, right? Like, and this is the problem with merch for me a lot of times, is the fact that while it's a great cash flow thing, overall, we don't have a ton of control over the process. We don't have that customer information. If you're going to run traffic to Amazon, you don't get a lot of the reporting coming back. So it's hard to tell how well things are converting, how your ad spend is, everything else. So for me, Etsy is very attractive because I can do all of those things. I have that reporting. I have that data. I can actually focus on building an audience and having rapport with my audience. Whereas merch, it's kind of a black box. You don't know who your shopper is. You just know that you're converting. You know that you're making money, which is great. Amazon organic traffic is awesome. And if you build a catalog of 10,000, 12,000 shirts that are selling really well, it can be a really good cash flow for you. But long term, I like to think long term. I want to think about how do I build this into a business, not just cash flow.
Mm-hmm. All right, I have a question about that. So building the brand on Etsy and obviously having not a whole lot of information with merch. How important do you think it would be to take your brand and put it on Amazon as it grows?
Not particularly. I think okay. So just going back to Everfit, they list their shirts on Amazon. They're slightly more expensive than what they are on the Etsy shop because Amazon fees are more expensive. I think that Amazon is not the place to build a brand. Amazon is all about converting for Amazon. Amazon is not about converting for you. So Amazon is great at remarketing and retargeting their customers, not necessarily with your items, with other items they think that you might be interested in buying. So, if you're building a brand on top of Amazon, you just don't really have a whole lot of control over the process. Amazon controls everything, which is great. I mean, this is why they're the largest e-commerce company in the world. They're really good at what they do. They're really good at converting traffic. But my mentality, and this is what my focus has been over the last 2 to 3 months, is how do I build something that I have more control over, that I know that I can actually manage and scale, and not have to worry about things changing down the road, because at the end of the day, this happens all the time on Amazon. If you're an FBA seller, it happens all the time. Things change all the time, and whether Amazon steps in on your listing and they start carrying the private label item you have, or you step the wrong way and your account gets shut down. Things change on Amazon all the time, and you don't have a whole lot of control. You just make up for it by the fact that you make a lot of fucking money on Amazon because there's so much traffic.
Awesome.
Also, too, with the emails on Etsy, you can take them and put them on Facebook. You guys didn't hear that from me, and you can retarget them. I know a lot about Facebook.
That's a very good point. Oh my God! Ads. Then you have a great target audience to target for Facebook ads.
They won't know anyways. It's just gonna pop up on their newsfeed, oh, there goes that shirt that I seen that I purchased.
Oh man, that's a good one.
Now, what's the biggest piece of advice you could give to somebody who is curious about starting an Etsy store but doesn't exactly know where to begin? Should their main focus be brand? Should it be a general store just to kind of get their feet wet? Or, where should the newest person go with Etsy?
If you don't know a thing about Etsy, you should check out Jay D'Souza and the course that he has. It's called his Etsy Crash Course. It's not cheap when it's compared to a lot of courses that are out there, but it's super thorough. I'm actually using it to train my right now, A to Z, right? Starting at the very beginning and understanding what you should do. And if you're serious about Etsy, I think you should plan on investing some money because you're going to spend money regardless. I think that understand the process, do the research and understand it. You can learn the information, I guess, if you're willing to spend some money and have trial and error and everything else. But I'm all about shortcuts. Like that course, bar none, it's the best course I've seen for anything like that. It's great. So
before even listing one shirt on Etsy,
yeah, I would. So here's the reason why. Like, you want to understand the reasons for why you're doing the things you're doing, right? So like if you're going to list a shirt, you want to understand the process. Like, this is what I need to do. This is how I need to do it. This is why I should do the things that I'm doing. Yeah, I just, for me, that's where I would start. I'm just a big believer that information is everything, right? Knowledge is everything. And you can learn it the hard way. You can learn it through the school of hard knocks, but why not take a shortcut?
Awesome. I feel like there needs to be like a mic drop at the end of everything you say. There's so many good points.
There was a question from Laura. She was asking about, like, if you have multiple stores, do you have it all under kind of a similar name brand? She said like Red River Dog or Red River Cat. No. Okay.
No, because totally they're different audiences. Yeah, okay. They're totally different audiences, so it wouldn't make sense for them to go from a store that is a little bit more edgy, it's more sarcastic or whatever, and then go to a store that's like very homey and, you know, like
country girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, with the customer service aspect of all these, of having multiple Etsy stores, how much time are you spending navigating through them all on any given day?
It's a couple hours a day, probably. Between returning conversations, sending out emails, everything else. It's just, it becomes normal, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, it's just part of the routine. It's just, you go through it. What I'm doing right now is we are training a VA that I've had for a while, who helped us with our Amazon business, and who I'm really focused on training her the right way to be able to run the stores. Because ideally what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over most of the day-to-day operations to her. She's going to take care of like writing our listings, putting all this stuff together, a lot of the grunt work. And then we can handle some of the customer service stuff that's a little more complicated that we don't necessarily want her to handle. And we're not dealing with all of the other stuff.
Cool. I think spending the time on the customer service is one of the reasons probably that you're doing so well, because that's so important to develop that trust and get those customers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, because to differentiate yourself on the platform, right? Like, at the end of the day, a lot of us are doing POD, so a lot of our pricing is fairly similar, right? So you're not going to win on price unless you're willing to take a really small margin. I'm not. If I'm doing it on Etsy, it's because I want to make money. So one of the ways you can really quickly differentiate yourself is by the way that you handle your customers. So a lot of Etsy sellers are very poor at this. Like, they don't respond to messages, or if they respond to messages, it's like 12 hours later. Like, we try and respond within an hour to any one of our customers.
Mm-hmm. Now, for somebody who merch is such a turn on because you don't have to deal with customers, you don't have to worry about shipping times or, anything, you don't have to worry about the customer. For somebody who's curious about Etsy, but kind of intimidated about the customer service experience, how would you encourage them in it?
I would say you need to weigh it out, right? Like, you need to balance it. Is it worth it for you to make potentially a lot more profit per listing, per sale than you do for merch, but also have to deal with some customers, right? Like, you're going to have to do that. And you can take care of a lot of the customer stuff by just writing out really good descriptions, explaining like what your shipping policy is, returns, exchanges, all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, you're still going to get messages, no matter how well you write it, how detailed you make it. Like, some customers are just, they don't want to deal with any of that. They just want to go direct to the source and ask you. It's a different animal than merch. If all you're interested in is passive money where you don't have to deal with customer service, you just upload shirts and that's all you want to deal with because you don't like people, then merch is your game. Etsy might not be the best fit for you. So, and I think that's something a lot of times people struggle with too, right? Like, why am I not having success on Etsy? Because you're not doing this, this, and this. Well, I don't want to do this. Well, then you're not going to be successful, right? Like, it's just, at the end of the day, there's certain things you need to do.
Now, do you find it easy to deal with your customers and meet some, because I know like sometimes not every customer is going to read the fine print. Yeah. They're expecting you to serve everything to them on the silver platter that you kind of can't do.
100%.
How hard is that to deal with,
Overall, we've had fantastic customers. We've had 2 or 3 bad apples that was just like, if I saw you, I'd want to punch you in the face. One specifically that was just an asshole. And it was just because like she wanted to get her money back because for whatever reason, right? She lied about the shirt and everything else. And finally, it was easier to just take care of it and get rid of her than it was to deal with anything else. And you just have to understand, you're going to deal with that in any business except for merch, really, right? Like in any business where you're dealing with customers, you're going to have customers that are a gigantic pain in the ass. It's just part of business. And I mean, at the end of the day, that's why we're here, right? Like we're here to run a business. You know, it's all magical unicorns until it starts to get real. And overall, I will say the Etsy customers they've been fantastic for us. Like they're super nice. They don't have, I don't think, unreasonable demands, but their demands are shaped by the fact that like their shopping experience on Amazon and other platforms, shipping's a little bit quicker than what it is on Etsy, right? So you're going to deal with that question all the time. So expect people to expect things to be shipped quicker. Have that in your mentality. Try and figure out a way to communicate to them, you know, these are custom orders. They're all made to order. They're, you know, it's made directly just for you. So they understand that it's not something that is sitting on a shelf that you can just package up and send out.
That's perfect.
Compared to Shopify, the people on Etsy seem to be much more accepting of the whole process. Right. Maybe it's because they're buying on Etsy and they think like, well, Etsy's got it together, but this Shopify store I never heard of, you know?
I think that definitely part of it, right? Like Etsy is a brand, where Shopify, they're shopping from this shop on the internet, right?
Right.
You know, I think the other part of it too is the Etsy shopper understands that a lot of this stuff is handmade, whereas it's not something that is, you know, like I said, it's not mass produced. So they're different expectations.
This has been so awesome. I have so many notes. So thank you.
Now here's a great question in the chat, and this is something that I've been curious about because, you know, this has been on my list of things to do too. Should you offer free shipping on Etsy?
But this is like me and RJ's favorite answer to any of these questions, right? Like, all right. So we have a shop that we do free shipping. We have a shop that we do paid shipping. We're testing it. I don't have a definitive answer right now. I know what Etsy has said. Etsy has said that I believe the number was 52% of their customers when surveyed said that they would rather shop for an item through free shipping versus something that's paid. Now, that whether that's actually the truth or not, I don't know, right? Like, so that's what they say when you go through a survey, but what the actual buyer behavior is, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know how, you know, Etsy split tested it and they've actually had the same exact listing up with free shipping versus paid shipping to test and see what the conversion rates are. But I mean, I know that, like, you know, going back to Jay D'Souza, he's had over 40,000 sales on Etsy, and all of his shops have shipping on it, and he charges a lot for shipping. He says the Etsy customer doesn't have any problem paying for it.
Mm-mm. Now, if you're not charging shipping, do you kind of jack your price up a little bit to cover the shipping?
Yeah, you're going to build it into your price one way or the other. It's more about convenience for the customer, not having them to do math to figure it all out.
I think too, like, do you guys ever do the threshold where it's like $50 and you get free shipping, or $75 and you get free shipping? No. Okay.
No, the one store we have free shipping on, and this is one of the things I do enjoy about it. So typically when you do paid shipping, right, like it's like $5 plus $1 more for every item additional, or whatever your structure is. Whereas free shipping, like, you're getting that bump every single time it goes through. So, you know, typically we build it in about $4 for shipping into every item in that store, and I'm getting paid $4 for all those items. So it's, you know, extra profit on top when you have multiple orders.
What do you think about like faster shipping times, offering the customer faster shipping?
So the problem with faster shipping times, for Printful at least, is unless you're paying for 2-day priority or you're paying for overnight, you don't have any control over their processing time, which can be a big issue, right? Like, so what we've run into, and if you've been using Printful, you've probably seen it too, stuff will go out of stock like 4 or 5 days later after the order comes in, and then you have a customer that's paid for like priority shipping, 1 to 3 day shipping, and they think that means that they're getting it in 1 to 3 days.
Meanwhile,
right?
Now, are you using just Printful, or are you using other places too?
We're using Printful. We've used Print Aura, which I didn't like. Print Aura sucked. We used the Printed Mint. We've used them for some stuff. And then we're trying out Printify right now.
Now, really nice. Have you thought about doing the integration into Amazon?
I've thought about it. I haven't gotten any further than that. So,
Matt, you should try put on your list to check out Print Tech.
Yeah, my buddy's been telling me about them for months back. They're like Trex too, right?
I've got a whole tomorrow. I'll go live with it. They sent me a whole box, so I can show you guys, like, as far as the like the quality, the embroidery,
right,
and all that stuff. But yeah, check it out.
Okay. one of the things that that I've been very focused on over the last month or so is simplifying my life, because my life has a lot of things going on right now. So what we've basically decided is my wife is going to take over the Etsy portion of the business for the most part and handle all of that stuff, whereas I'm going to focus on our merch business and focus on like local merch, which is a big thing for me. So I'm trying to eliminate the shiny object syndrome that most entrepreneurs have, where like you get excited about something, you jump on it, and like it takes your focus away. We're going to build out Etsy for the rest of the year. We're going to build out the local merch business for the rest of the year. And then at the end of the year, once we're through all of this, then kind of reevaluate and see where we are and decide if there's something else we can add to our plate. I feel like a lot of times, at least for myself, I get spread out way too much. And then it takes away from the ability to really build a really, really solid business, because I'm building a bunch of little micro businesses here. So like you get confused by like micro successes, when in reality, like at the end of the day, it's all about money in pocket. And I want to make a lot of freaking money. And I'm not going to do it by having like 9 different businesses all over the place, making me like $500.
True.
Cool. I didn't even know you were doing a lot with local merch. So that'll be good to hear about.
Yeah, so I'm probably not going to be talking about it a ton until I'm a little more comfortable in the process, right? Like my background is sales. I've been in sales since I was 21 years old. Like I've done nothing but sales in one way, shape, or form, right? So it's a good fit for me. I'm really excited to get back to just business to business sales. I've experienced in that. So it's my business partner right now. So I think it's something that it's really in our wheelhouse. Down the road, we'll be able to provide some really, really good content with regards to like the pitch, sales process, understanding how to pitch a business, how the difference it is when you're in like an actual live event versus doing something over e-commerce. We're also planning on building out a whole funnel system basically to drive traffic to local merch business and everything else. So I'll be able to talk to that down the road. But right now, it's just we're in the testing phase. We're just going through a lot of stuff.
Now, RJ, what about you, RJ? Is your focus going to be Etsy and Amazon? Or are you going to try to narrow down on one thing? Like, what is your goal for the next couple of months?
I have somebody that uploads for me on Etsy, but that's what I'm saying, because I'm like confused still, because I'm just like, okay, the designs that I have are not shitty designs, excuse me, but they're not, you know what I mean? They're not bad designs. So I'm trying to figure out why. And once I figure out why and I get it down, because that's like one of my main focuses. He can just do that, and it'll just gonna scale up from there. Like the more designs he's gonna upload, the more profit I'm gonna make, of course. But I'm not sure exactly what it is. And I've seen other people's stores that are doing like they're just basic stores, and they're not even like they're killing it. They're like have over 800 sales already. I'm like, how are you guys doing this?
Are you getting a lot of traffic, RJ? Like, and they're just not converting, or?
Well, this is another thing though too. Okay, so my mock-ups on my stores were dark. Okay, they were dark. And I switched it over to light mock-ups in the background. So let's see if that makes a difference. Let me upload like about 200 listings with the lighter backgrounds, and let's see what happens.
Okay,
now
did you see if they were driving traffic though from like a big like Instagram account or anything?
No. Well, most of the people that I know that are doing really good numbers, they're not doing none of that. They're just using Etsy, and they're doing really well.
How many more people are starting to dabble in it? So just check them real quick and see if maybe that's like the only piece, is something like
because I got 3 people that came from Pinterest, and okay, that's cool, but no, I'm pretty sure no sales, so I'm trying to figure that out. So
Kristen Harris says you need Jay's course.
His course. Probably.
You guys need to get Jay on the show. If you guys want to really dive into Etsy.
Jay, we want you.
There's so many awesome people in this community. Like we already filled out like the whole year, and we keep having to be like figure out like, okay, switch people around. How are we going to do this?
For sure. Yeah, Jay and his business partner Dion are both freaking awesome. Dion is like, when it comes to like branding and understanding both Shopify and Etsy, like that whole experience, like she'll talk your ear off, and it's going to be a great conversation.
So exciting. I love learning all this stuff. Thank you guys so much for coming on today.
Teresa said, love Jay. He's a decent Canadian.
He's a decent Canadian.
I feel like there's so many Canadians in the merch world.
I think it's e-com in general.
It's good. I like it.
That's the beauty of it. I mean, it really is worldwide, and you're making connections with people you never would have otherwise. So
Helen, can you update it with Jay's course link when you finish live? Because people are asking.
Yeah, somebody send it to me. I don't know if I have it, but yeah, I'll definitely add it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get it.
Jay, message Helen. Jay's in the audience.
He's messing with me now.
Yeah, Jay, you send the link.
By the way, guys, there's 72 people watching right now, and there's only 22 thumbs up. You guys are like not doing your job, right? Like, so we're doing our job right now. We're giving you guys awesome content. Like, you guys need to do your part, okay? So, like, part of the deal, part of the agreement is you guys need to help these ladies out. Hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, tag the bell, okay? Get after it. Come on, guys.
Oh, thank you, Matt. This is something that I need to learn. Like, I'm still new to YouTube. I always forget to ask people to hit the subscribe button.
Watch, here goes 20 thumbs down. Here goes 20 thumbs down.
You know what?
Oh,
so here's the thing about the thumbs down.
RJ brought all the people that do the thumbs down.
So here's the thing with thumbs down, and like the haters don't realize. YouTube's algorithm only cares about interaction, right? Like they don't care whether it's thumbs up or thumbs down. So if they're giving you a thumbs down, they're actually helping your page even more, right? Because they know that you're getting interaction with it. They're going to show the video more often.
And it's so funny. Like haters are so much more loyal than
right. Seriously, like
they'll probably put some comments in there too.
Haters are loyal. That's a new shirt.
Okay. Haters
right?
RJ sending it to his VA right now.
Bo said, "Here comes a thumb down." Bo's helping us with the engagement.
Awesome.
That's good. And then also, well, share the video too if you guys haven't, because that's like one of the most things.
Awesome. You guys are helping so much. Thank you. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I know we've held you for an hour already. I mean, we could talk to you all night. You have so much to
if you guys like the content, check out the newsletter. It's merchnews.email, just nice and simple. Goes out weekly on Wednesday. That's the goal anyways.
Put that before Jay's
definitely link. I need to make sure I have that linked. I know I put your YouTube channels and your Facebook group and everything, but I gotta check if I put that in there.
Okay, I'll share it through my channels tomorrow too.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely everyone do that newsletter. It's amazing.
I'm gonna go watch a movie and go eat dinner. I'm not sure where or
yeah, you guys are California time, so it's dinner time.
We're in California time. RJ's out in the garage right now too, so I'm sure he's baking. It's like 105 out by me. I don't know how hot it is by him.
Oh my god.
I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready.
RJ's cooking like a pizza.
They're all good. I'm not detoxing all this alcohol out of my system.
Yeah, that'll do it. I mean, he's in the sauna right now.
He's got the po man sauna.
Did your grandpa party with you?
Yeah, he always does.
Awesome. I love that.
Me and him are real close. Like me and him are all about. Well, I'm all about family. Me and him are real close. So like whatever I do accomplish, he's like right behind me. Like I'm excited. Like thank you. Like good job. You know what I mean?
I love that. How is his merch account doing?
I haven't even checked up on that at all. Let's see.
Grandpa's slacking.
No, because I have to do it all, and then my sales are like up and down, and I'm just over here all.
Like, Grandpa, how does that work? Where I do all the work?
I just sent him a code on his cell phone. He's not here, so.
Kristen said he's Mexican. He can take the heat.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much, and come back anytime. I really want to hear how it goes with the local merch, so we'll have to have you guys back on.
I like I said, I don't see it talking a whole lot about it until probably year end.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do a follow up with you.
For sure.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.